PlayStation believes in great games.
Hello and good day to you, my beautiful friends. I do hope you are well. Welcome to episode 23 of CrossButton VR, a beginner's journey into PS VR2, a show for those who want to share in our newcomers' enthusiasm for the world of VR. Now, I'm your host, Laurie, but for anyone that hasn't really been paying attention too much, I just want to let you know that we are part of the Cross Players. So if you like what you hear, please do check out the rest of our content at thecrossplayers.com. Now, it is an honour to be joined once again by two of the most block-breaking influencers in the metaverse. It's Ben and Alex. Now, surely for once you have no problem with that intro there.
None at all.
I'm happy with that.
None at all.
And I can say this now because you two both do have the platinum for Masternoid since last week.
We do.
Incredible.
Hardcore gamers.
You are
Very proud platinum, that one.
You're much better than me at that game.
My first VR platinum. That one.
What a game to get it with.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, we've got plenty of Masternoid chat coming up because we've just been lucky enough to interview one of the three developers from the developers Pixel Magnet, Petros Mizamidis, who is a very, very, very nice gentleman. Didn't seem to bear any grudges or hold any grudges against Ben and I, which was very, very good of him.
I mean, I would have if I was him.
I mean, yeah, I would have, to be fair, as well. We were pretty cheeky about the game. As I said last week, though, it was never any critique of the game. It was entirely a critique of you, Alex, and your questionable recommendations sometimes.
Absolutely.
I've been very used to critique this week. I feel like it's been my week to be put
You had a bit of week of heavy criticisms. Yeah, thanks, Phil, too.
Love you, Phil.
Yeah. If there's any other Phils out there still that have not signed up to our Patreon, then please do. We've got a special offer just for Phils at the moment. You get some special pictures sent to you. Good. So what's on the agenda for tonight's show then, gents? Any idea?
This is the part where you tell us.
Yeah, well, it's a good job that someone's made some notes. We've got quite a lot of news, actually. I always think at the start of the week, I think surely there's not going to be that much to talk about because we must have a slow news week one of these weeks, and everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Sony, they're not really supporting the PSVR2." But again, there is lots to talk about, so we've got quite a lot of news to talk about. We've all been playing Switchback VR after the new patch for that has launched, so we're going to be giving our thoughts on that. We have also been playing The Room VR. Well, you two have. I haven't got around to playing it yet, but I will be playing it shortly. So we're going to have our initial impressions on that before we do a full review next week. And then I've already mentioned we've got our interview with one of the developers from Pixel Magnet, the developers of Masternoid, Petros Mizamidis, and that's coming up at the end of the show. So lots there for everyone to look forward to over the next 40 minutes, but let's be honest, probably an hour or so. So if you would like to support us, please do give this podcast a sub on the service you're using. And if you are watching on YouTube, please do like and leave a comment and help spread the word and all that engagement stuff. And yeah, follow us on Twitter at CrossButton VR. Or sorry, follow us on X. I am never ever going to get used to saying that, and that's the first time I've tried saying X, and I'm never going to do that again. Follow us on Twitter at CrossButton VR and at the Cross Players. And if you really want to show the love, you can do so, just like Phil 2 did this week via patreon.com, the Cross Players, and for £2 a month you can help us produce the show and gain entry into our lovely little WhatsApp group. Okay. So the news then. I think this might have been news that we missed from last week, but we were so busy last week with things to talk about. There was the Firewall Ultra was actually been given a release date now for the 24th of August, and that dropped with a new trailer as well, showing the game in action, which I think is one of the most comprehensive gameplay trailers that they've shown of that. Have you both seen this?
Yeah, it looks good.
I think this is the big kind of Sony publishing this game. I think they are.
Yeah, Sony are publishing it. That's right.
It's the big exclusive that's coming next for the platform. It's got lots of marketing push behind it. It looks very good. They've obviously got a lot of resources, and it's the follow up to the PSVR game, Firewall 0 Hour. Yeah, is that what it's called? Zero something.
I think it was Zero. I was going to say Zero Mission, but that's Metroid. I think it is Zero Hour.
Zero Dawn.
Right.
Firewall Zero Dawn. And this one's going to be Firewall Forbidden West, I think. No, not really. Yeah, so it looks good. I'm sure this is going to be very popular. First party not first play, but Sony published game. It's gonna be big. What were your thoughts? Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I'm not a shooty person. Like, I've never been a shooty person in these team shooter games. Although they look good, I don't know how much they're going to be a game for me, but I want to try it. But I think we're probably going to go on to this, and then maybe your next news item. But I keep getting confused to which game's which. I keep getting confused to which one is the one with the story mode and which one's PvP and what's PvE, and there's both PvP and PvE, and I really... They're too similar, yet different. Like, and I'm talking about Crossfire, Sierra Squad.
I want to say this is just PvE, and
no, I think I think this is PvP mainly with PvE, and this is a bit it's so confusing. Like,
yeah, I mean, to be fair, we are not the target audience for this. It's a bit like all the horror games that come out that we don't really play. But I like you, I kind of want to play this. I would never play a game like this on
flat
VR, flat pancake, whatever you want to call it. I would never play that. They're just not sort of games that interest me. But doing it in VR, it would be fun, something to have a go in, and it was fun if the three of us can play it with one of the Phils inevitably. Get a team going. I'm sure we can have fun. I think we will be pretty awful, and if anyone we come up against, they're going to have a great time getting matched up against us because we're going to be very easy to beat, I suspect. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun trying. And so this comes out on the 24th of August, and then the next piece of news that you alluded to is we also got a release date this week for Crossfire Sierra Squad, and a new trailer for that as well. That comes out on August the 29th, which is 5 days later. Now I tweeted, what are they playing at? Releasing a game that looks very, very similar to the other multiplayer military shooter type thing. 5 days later, surely... everyone's going to be playing Firewall. They'll be like, I'm busy playing Firewall. Or people, I won't play Firewall, I'm going to wait a weekend and play Crossfire. Lots of people, obviously being the internet, did line up to tell me I was wrong, and actually they're very different games. They're clearly very different. One of them is very much like Rainbow Six, and one of them is very much more like arcadey. And I say, okay, which is which?
Yeah, which is which? It'd be great to know. Whatever is the arcadey one, that's the one I'll be be in.
Yeah. And the Firewall Ultra is the Rainbow Six extraction. Right. Yeah. Go in. You've got to find a laptop, tap away at it, get some intel, get out there. That kind of thing. Crossfire, that is the one that's got 13 campaign missions that are single player, 50 squad missions, campaign missions, which you can play in single player or 2-player co-op, and then there's also a horde mode that you can play in 4-player co-op. So that's quite a lot of content there.
More fun.
Much more interesting to me.
Yeah. And 100%. The single player mode, apparently you can take 4 hours, so that's a pretty decent game length for VR. And then the squad missions, with 50 of them, that apparently takes about 16 hours to complete. So I'm guessing that's like 20-minute things, which sounds like a lot of fun. If we can jump on 2 players, so a couple of us can jump on of an evening, 20-minute levels to just rattle through. It'll be interesting to see the variety in there, how it keeps interesting over 50 different levels. That's quite a lot, it sounds like to me.
And go on. I was just going to add, I suppose, to your argument and why does it make sense to release them so close together is one is an exclusive and one isn't. So Sierra Squad's coming out on Quest as well. So if you're going to get a bit of noise and a bit of like excitement coming out of Firewall, then if you've got an alternative that you can play on VR2 and on the Quest with, I'm not sure if they confirmed crossplay. They were certainly talking about crossplay, and I don't know if it's there yet. There was certainly chat of it. But at least then that kind of makes sense that you've got something coming on the other platform at the same time and on PS VR2 that's not an exclusive. So from that perspective, and you say they are very different games, but I think I still struggle to, and probably this is just ignorance on my part, but to fully understand what I'm getting with Firewall Ultra. And that probably comes down to the fact that I haven't played the first one in PSVR 1.
Yeah. I guess as well, it's kind of like Call of Duty and Battlefield. There is enough of a community, or hopefully will be enough of a community. But that makes sense when it's COD and Battlefield, but there aren't that many headsets out there. It's just kind of a niche. Having being able to afford the headset is quite a niche proposition in the first place. There's lots of people that want one that just frankly just cannot afford one right now, and then people that can afford one. These sorts of games are quite a niche, and I think people kind of like the idea of having a go at them. But I don't know how much people. it's a niche of a niche. So to have two games all there at the same time, I hope they can both find a community, especially if Crossfire does have cross-play with the Quest community. That's obviously going to help it. I just really hope that Firewall Ultra doesn't find people trying to go on there and just take kind of 10 minutes for matchmaking with people, because that would be really boring.
Yeah. Interesting to see which one comes out on top between the two of them, actually. I know they are obviously massively different, but even though they look identical, I think the PvP of Firewall doesn't interest me in the slightest, but
no.
Crossfire could be interesting.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, definitely. That's the one I'm gravitating towards. Anything PvP, it's not fun for me.
Hell no,
it's so bad. Yeah. These sorts of things, people get very, very good at them, and they take it very, very seriously. Whereas I don't.
Exactly.
You won't.
So no, we won't. So anyway, they're coming up the end of August. It'll be kind of Oasis and Blur all over again. It'll be that grudge match. So we can look forward to everyone making the comparisons. Which is best? One of them has to be the winner.
Blur.
So yeah, that'll be. Look forward to that in our early September episode, everyone. Let's move on. C-Smash VRS announced on Twitter this week that they have got a big expansion coming, some new modes. So I think we said when we played the game that it felt like it was quite kind of lacking in modes. It felt like there was a fun game there, but not quite enough to justify. There needs to be more to hold the attention there, and obviously they've taken that on board, and probably there's always been this roadmap. So we've got an Infinity mode coming, a co-op mode, which I think is the thing that I always wanted to see. The versus bot, which again will be fun. Good for people.
I think that's one thing I think I mentioned in our initial impressions that's one thing I thought would be. I found it ever so slightly jarring that you're just batting a ball against,
a wall,
pads and a wall. So yeah, playing against the bot would be cool.
Yeah, and there's new levels, instant replays, something called Uncle with a K, not C.
That's an artist,
that's musician.
It's music.
Oh, okay, something called Uncle. Wow, I look forward to that. Ben is very for fuck's sake.
Something called Uncle.
I've never heard of him. Never heard of him. A music player and more. ... Some other musicians I may have heard of.
No, ... Yeah. That is them.
Yeah.
Not heard of ... Ellipses.
It's actually pronounced ellipses, yeah.
Okay, and more ellipses. So yeah, that's coming soon, in August, in fact, actually. So yeah, the next few weeks away. So that we'll see how that lands.
I'll be interested to jump back into that. Have another go on that.
Oh,
definitely.
Will you? Well, that's good.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Alex, you were obviously a huge fan of it from the start. You advocated it very strongly in our top 10 games list. And I think, if it does have these new modes and there is a bit more content there, then it's definitely one to revisit and to see if it's can make a stronger case for itself now.
Hopefully, because it does seem to have, the buzz has definitely gone a bit from that one.
I was going to say, it seems like it's doing pretty well. We seem to keep getting the odd reviews, occasionally keep dropping. It seems
not
to be
seen
quite
anybody
well.
playing it though.
No, I guess I wait for these new modes.
Have you?
It seems to have been well critically regarded. It's done pretty well. It's
been well marketed, definitely. That is half the battle.
Good.
That was a very long sip there, Laurie.
I'm thirsty.
Pause.
Thirsty business, this.
Laurie.
There was some news that was someone shared on our Discord for the RAD app coming to PS VR2 soon. They just announced this week.
What is that then?
The RAD app is an app that you can play VR content media in, which I always think is very strange that there isn't anything yet still that you can't just watch VR videos. And obviously, everyone just wants to watch. There's only one thing people want to watch in VR. And it's those, nature documentaries, obviously, I was going to say. It's nature, because, I remember that on the 3DS where you sit there and you could watch, going through the jungle and stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to do that on my PSVR. So I'm going to sideload all of my nature content.
Nature.
Yeah.
It's perfectly natural, darling.
I don't know what sideloading means. I don't know if someone
you
will
when that content's on there.
Okay. Someone will explain to me how it works or how you do it, because I don't. Yeah, you can, if you download your own content, you can then save it on, transfer it onto a media
USB
hard drive, put it on your. Yeah, stick that on your PlayStation and then view it through this app. So obviously we're talking about porn here. You can watch porn on your PS2 once this comes out. That's what people are getting.
Didn't need to say it.
That's what people are going to use it for.
We're not all like Phil 2. We're not all like Phil 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that aside, I do think it's strange that there isn't any VR 3D movies or anything. No, well, I can see why Sony don't want to be putting porn on the headset, on their ecosystem. But yeah, just like normal stuff. And I think the Rad app, there is like, they host lots of like content that's more family friendly, let's say. But it also it works as a player for anything else that you might want to download.
I do think we are missing a few like just experiences, because wasn't it on PSVR 1, wasn't there like a shark thing where you could go in a cage underwater and just...
That was a game,
VR Worlds.
That was just actually a game. But there were...
We're missing stuff like that, just
VR
like
videos.
experiences that are quite cool.
Yes.
So, yeah, it'd be nice to do something that isn't just a game in the true sense.
Yeah. Especially because Quest has tons of stuff like that as well. But I guess, I mean, they must have looked at the numbers on PSVR and thought, no bloody uses this stuff. So let's not bother. Anyway, that's coming soon. The next up, we had something else, a port of Racket Fury Table Tennis VR, which is a tennis game with a much more sensible name. That's been announced. That was a very well-reviewed early VR title, so it came out 2018, I want to say, a while ago, so quite early in the world of VR. But it was very well reviewed, and that's now being ported across to PSVR2 soon. So
awesome, that's good.
Given the age of that, I think it's probably can expect some decent updates to that.
Yeah, and a reasonable price, I would expect as well.
No, better be,
given the age.
They haven't confirmed. This must have been given away in the days of Play thing at some point, because I own this game.
Really?
So it's on my catalogue, but they haven't managed to confirm yet whether it's going to be a free upgrade or not. And I'd imagine if they've given it away for free at some point, it's probably not going to be a free upgrade, but who knows?
Yeah, it'll be like a thump.
You might have it in your catalogue.
Cool.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, I'm interested in this. I used to like Rockstar table tennis back in the day.
Oh yeah, great game. The Xbox 360 exclusive.
Great game.
So another new game that was announced for PlayStation VR this week was a port of House Flipper VR. And I say PlayStation VR, not PlayStation VR2.
Yeah, this one caused a lot of confusion. Like, because when I seen it, in the press release I saw advertised it as PSVR1 and PSVR2. And then when you read into it, it just said PSVR1. And then they confirmed it was just PSVR1. But I think Upload VR wrote an article saying it was coming to PSVR2, and it's not coming to PSVR2. It is coming to PSVR1, which just feels bizarre. I mean, at this stage,
understandable, because you see that and you think, oh, surely they've just made a mistake in their press release there, and they've just missed the two off. There's no way that no one's going to still release a PSVR1 game now. Surely, why would you do such a thing? But no, apparently that is the case. And didn't you say, Alex, that they have confirmed and clarified that it is definitely only for now PlayStation 1? It's coming out. PlayStation 1? No, PSVR 1.
PS1.
Yeah, PS1. That'd be an awesome port. D-make.
But yes, so we got some people's excitement up, and then we let them back down again. So apologies.
You can only assume that this version must have been in development for
a while.
A bloody long time.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully it eventually does come to PSVR 2. Because it does look like a cool game.
Yeah. Having just completely done lots of work on my house and decorated most rooms, I saw the trailer for this and I thought, there's absolutely no way. I've just kind of finished the nightmare of doing all of this. I do not want to enter the VR world that I can decorate a house again and again. So I won't be playing it.
It's much more fun doing these things in a game than it is doing it in real life. I mean, I've been playing, not in VR, but at Arcade Paradise. We talked about this in Crosscast. And I love doing the washing in Arcade Paradise, but I'd never do it at home.
You don't wash your clothes?
Oh, I don't do it.
We had this exact conversation on Crosscast.
Yeah, let's not have it again.
Well, okay, well, I have to listen to that, find out what's going on there. There's a little plug there. If anyone wants to find out more about that, listen to this week's episode of the Crosscast.
It is a great episode.
Just search on podcast services or your YouTube channel that you're watching this on. So, yeah, there's the news.
Excellent.
That's it.
Thanks, Laurie.
Yeah, no, well, let's move on to what we have been playing. And there's one that we've all played this week. We finally got the long-awaited, much hyped big patch. The big patch, they call it. This is the big patch that's going to finally fix Switchback VR. It's funny when games get these things. It's like Cyberpunk. It's like, we're still waiting. We're getting all these small patches, but coming soon, there's going to be the proper patch that's actually going to make it a playable, fun game. And that's what this was build to be. Got this big patch, lots of huge patch notes, lots of things that's changed, but just basically added proper decent graphics and proper gameplay mechanics. So we've all been playing it, and obviously now it runs like a dream, right, guys? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's completely flawless and it runs perfectly and it's really good fun to play. Right, Ben?
Right, Laurie. Let's start with the positives.
Okay.
If we may.
Done.
I have not got any issues with the visuals at all. I think it looks
yeah,
lovely.
it looks nice.
Environments are cracking. The lighting is superb. Yep, there we go. That was the positives.
No, I think the graphics are really good. I think on the gameplay point of view, I really enjoy the whole sitting in the car, shooting at stuff. It's really simple fun. It really reminds me of being on those light gun when you go to like Alton Towers and they have a ride that's in the dark and you're going around shooting your laser gun at the targets, the little red dots that you can try and point your thing at. And you go, it's basically a ghost train with a light gun on it. And it translates that experience to VR really well. You are literally on a roller coaster the entire time. You have that same the haptics I think are really nice. So you're going chug 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 when you're going uphill, and you can feel the going up the thing, and then when you roll, you're rolling down it. You feel that in the haptics as well really nicely. So I find that very immersive. I like shooting at the targets. I've got it on just easy mode because, as discussed many times, I do not like horror games. I don't want anything too scary. I just like having it fun, like it is a ride. I just want to have plenty of time to when things jump out and scare me. And it kind of scares me, but it's fun scares because it's not like if you're playing Resident Evil where it's like, I don't want to go through this door. I don't want to walk through this door. Bad stuff's going to happen because you're on a roller coaster. It's just moving. You can't stop it from moving. So you just kind of go with it. You just go with it, and you know stuff's going to jump out. And when it does, it's just a case of shooting it and playing it on easy. I don't have to worry too much about dying. I have died at a boss, but only once. So I'm just playing it, and playing it is really a fun experience. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. I finished the first level, did the boss. I'm into the second level. The levels are really long. I would say it's much longer than you kind of would expect them to be. Takes a while to get through each one for this kind of arcadey sort of thing. So yeah, so I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep playing it. I'll have more thoughts, I think, as I get through it over the weeks, because I know on the reviews people's had of it. People said it was kind of, over the whole campaign, it doesn't really hold up. It gets quite repetitive and boring. So I'll see how if I drop off it as well.
Well, I've certainly got to a bit that's repetitive and boring because, like you said, Laurie, I'm playing it on story mode, so it's been super easy up to a point. But then I've got to the boss that you've just mentioned, and it will not let me get past that boss. I've tried, let's say, 15, 20 times.
You'd never want to do that.
On something that's extremely easy. I understand. As soon as it started, I understood what I had to do. But you basically have to, this isn't spoilery, I mean, it's boss 101, have to shoot some red barrels so that they explode next to the boss.
You're ruining the experience for me.
So they explode next to the boss right before they get hurled at you. And then
she's stunned, then you can pump her full of lead.
Exactly. But it won't let me destroy the barrels quick enough. So every single time it is killing me on something that is so ridiculously easy. And I've gone to watch videos to see if I'm doing something wrong. I'm not. I can see people shoot them and they blow up straight away pretty much.
Are you definitely hitting them?
I'm definitely hitting them.
You're not a terrible shot.
I haven't had any issues shooting anything else. Like I'll spot one of the, the gold things miles off, pick that off with one shot easily. So I'm definitely hitting it. But yeah, it seems to be a bug, and there has been another bug that I've noticed where the screen, the colours just get really blown out randomly. So I have to kind of pause and then restart that area for the colours to settle back down again, which is not ideal. Because I was kind of liking it up to that point, like you said about the roller coaster stuff.
That's cool.
Brilliant. Like the way it. I mean, I still get just going down a dip. I get that same feeling you get on an actual roller coaster, like in the pit of your stomach, where you're like, whoa, and it's fun, and I enjoyed that. And yeah, like you say, it's not hard because you've got two guns and infinite ammo. It's like,
reloading's really easy. There's no faffing about hitting it on your thigh like you like to do.
I kept doing that though.
You can switch on automatic reload, so you don't even have to do it as well, which just makes it even more fun and easy. So I'm pissed off that I can't.
Did you do the blink? Did you do the blink room?
I got to a point where it said don't make any noise.
Oh no, okay. So you have to. It's the direction of the track you choose.
Right.
So
okay.
I changed the track and it took to the blink room. So you must have gone. Don't make a noise instead.
Yeah.
And that was
which I didn't. I didn't really understand. I didn't make a noise, but then a load of dogs came out and attacked me. So.
Well, must have smelled you.
Yeah. Don't smell.
Must have smelled Alex in his unwashed clothes. No, but the blink thing, but that did work. You know, the eye tracking it is just like the Doctor Who bit where if you blink, they come closer and they jump out at you and stuff. And it's fun because you know that they're going to come to life eventually. So I was just going to blink just to see, when's it going to go? When's it going to go? Yeah, so I enjoyed that. That's cool.
Atmosphere and everything is cracking. But Alex, what's your experience been in a nutshell?
Basically, started it. I was quite impressed as well. I thought it looks good. The one thing I thought, the very early bits, and I thought it looked really blurry with all the, and I don't know if it's supposed to look that because it's supposed to be misty and stuff, and it just felt really blurry. But then when you get into the actual roller coaster, I'm like, this looks really good. I'm like, yeah. And then I got to the end of my first run, first level, got that high score because I got the best score out of the three of us. And then
heavily competitive.
I didn't even realise there were high scores.
There are. Laurie sent
you actually have to finish the level, Ben, and then you can see your high score. Well, presumably you're appearing on the leaderboard, Ben, having not completed the level, which is strange.
Watch out, Alex.
Yeah, presumably you'll get more points for downing the boss. I don't
even remember having a boss.
No, I don't think you're at that point. I think you get the sections that before that boss. There's like two sections before this boss.
I got to the end of that bit, and then the screen just went grey. And I was like, "What's going on?" I'm like,
"Is it having problems as well?"
So I thought, "Is it going to? Is this supposed to like just go black? Have I just gone into darkness and something's going to happen? Like, because you go back and forward like on like the train crash type bit, and I'm like, am I back on the train? Have I like, is my face against one of the seats in the train or something? And then I'm going to get up. Then I was firing my gun, and I could hear the gun firing, and I could like the sound was fine, and I like went back to the home screen, went back in black. Tried to load up black, and I'm like,
wow.
Oh well, so done. Like if this is how I'm going after like my first run through playing it, then it's not a great experience to start.
Yeah, that is terrible. So for balance for viewers and listeners, I have had no technical problems at all. It's run faultlessly for me, and that's to its credit. I think if I had anything, a bit like with Before Your Eyes, I think in VR, when you have a bug like that, it's so jarring and it takes you out of the experience so much because VR is so immersive that when something goes wrong, it really just, you're like, oh, fuck this, I don't want to play this anymore. So yeah, I can just totally understand how for both of you that would just sour the whole thing really. But I've not had that, so it'd be interesting to see what the common consensus and what the sort of chatter online is about people's reactions post this patch.
Shame. Yeah, that is a shame.
At this stage, tough to recommend. Unfortunately.
Well,
there's the bones of a good game there, which is really unfortunate. There is the bones of a very, very good game.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. I'd recommend it quite highly if you're looking for that sort of thing. And it would be a good thing as well. I was thinking playing it. I think this would be a great thing to show someone who comes around and says, "Oh, let me have a go on your headset, and let me have a go on something."
Yeah.
If it works, obviously, if you can't rely on it to work properly, then don't do that. But like, if like my brother came around and someone you feel like who could, like scary games and likes horror films, you could put them in that because it's so easy. You don't have to do anything. You just have to point and shoot things. It's a real arcade experience, and you are just on a roller coaster.
My wife played it a little bit actually. couple of nights ago, and she enjoyed the small amount that she played. So
she's the one that
you're
racked
right.
up the high score. I bet she did it the first time, did she?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No problem.
You're an idiot.
She doesn't talk like that. She's not
She
right.
definitely doesn't talk like that. Yeah.
No. Also, I think I'd recommend this for fans of shit loading screens.
Oh yeah.
It's
I
the
was quite
worst
surprised at the loading
screen I've
screens. Yeah.
ever seen.
It's very PS1. isn't it?
Oh, it's awful. What a weird... It's just odd.
Because I
It's
was
worth
like,
buying just to see that loading screen.
You're better off just having like a bar that fills across the bottom of the screen, just like a loading bar. It is weird, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's,
it was
very
also
strange.
longer than I expected when they said they'd improved the loading times of the patch. That's another thing I'd say. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think the
it's
loading
really
times are
bad
actually
before.
that fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been really bad before. Yeah, well, it's a shame. I feel bad that you guys have not had a great experience with it because, for me, it ran flawlessly and I had a good time with it. So
I've uninstalled and reinstalled it, so if I can get past that boss, I may report back if I'm able to continue.
let's
Yeah.
we'll do try. Let us know.
Remain optimistic.
Right, let's move on because you two have also been playing. We've just got some time just to quickly cover off your first impressions of The Room VR before we do a full deep dive review of this game next week. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Well, comment out if you go first.
Probably worth. So we did get given some codes to look at this from Fireproof Games, so thank you very much. And we also gave away a couple of codes, so congratulations to Chris and Lee who won our competitions. I hope you've enjoyed the game, and very much and thank everyone who contributed, who entered, and thank you for listening and watching, because it does mean a lot to us, so thanks again.
Thank you.
But the Room VR is very, very good in first impressions. Like, I'm saying first impressions, we will do a proper review when these guys have finished it, but I've just about finished it, and I think this game is excellent. Like, for what it is as an escape room type game, it does it exquisitely. Like, the puzzles are brilliant, it looks brilliant, the atmosphere's brilliant, the controls work incredibly well, like, it just works. It looks really, really good. I wasn't sure because this is a PSVR1 to PSVR2 game. I wasn't sure how good it was going to look. That was my kind of thing going into it. I'm like, is this going to look like it's just been ported to work? But I'd say they've very much polished it. I don't know, you, Ben, what you think, but it's definitely worth playing. And if you had this in PSVR1, it's a free upgrade, so play it. I think you'll really enjoy it.
I would not have known that this was a PSVR 1 game just from looking at it. It looks cracking. Yeah, I completely agree. Everything you've said, Alex. I think it's just so well presented. The atmosphere that it manages to create is kind of spooky without being scary. It's eerie. The puzzles, for the most part, are pretty ingenious. There's a few where I've sort of relied on trial and error. I'm not quite as far as Alex. I think I'm on the third, nearly finished the third level. But yeah, and the hint system is really good as well.
Yeah,
and I have leaned back on that a couple of times when I've just, the point where you obviously you try and solve these things, but the point where you can feel a bit of frustration and a bit of exasperation, you can just pull down, get one hint. There sometimes might be a second or third hint as well, which is quite handy. So yeah, really good. I cannot wait to get back to it. I'm definitely going to see this through. Almost, Laurie, it's got a darker The Last Clockwinder kind of vibe to it. So if you think about it, The Last Clockwinder was kind of an escape room game in a way, wasn't it? You had to solve a puzzle to get to the next room, and this is effectively that as well, but with more puzzle solving rather than physics based automatons. I'm sorry, go.
Sorry, go. And I think what it also does really well is, like, each level is different. Like, so it's all built off one concept. If you've got this lens that almost kind of switches between realms, is maybe a good way of putting it. I don't know how you would put it, but it's almost kind of switching between, like, it's not quite supernatural, but it's
like the real world and then a kind of like space in between,
like a dark world.
Yeah.
But it does a slightly different take on that in each level. Like, so the first one, it's just very much you can see it, and then the second one, you almost go into it, and like it's almost you becoming miniature, and like
that's very cool.
Like, so it does and then the next one is something different again, and then the next one it kind of pulls them all together, and I think it's really intelligently done. Really well thought through. Like the puzzles are complex, but not complex to the extent that you're like, fuck am I supposed to do here? But Spencer's hint system does a really nice job of saying, well, I just need that little one hint to just point me in the right direction, or you need the 2 or the 3. So, like, not to get, I'm probably going to be a bit more detailed if we wanted to, but it's very, very
You'll
good.
like it.
So
You'll like it, Laurie.
You'll like
Yeah,
it.
no,
play
it
it
sounds
this
good.
week
It sounds
and
like
you'll love
definitely
it.
we'll have a go on it, and then we can do a proper review discussion. So we'll have a good play, and Alex has finished it next week. So that's the Room VR, and thanks again for those codes that we were able to give away, the developers there. Now, before we wrap up the show with our interview with Petros from Pixel Magnet, we've got another giveaway, haven't we, chaps?
We do.
Yeah.
So, Pixel Magnet will be
to continue the Masternoid theme of this show.
Obviously, we've banged on a little bit about Masternoid for a little while, and a lot of you have tried it, and a lot of you have loved it. So thank you for giving it a go and putting a little bit of trust in me, probably more than anything else, because I feel like I'm the number one like fangirl for this game, but I'm very happy to be that. But Pixel Magnet have given us a couple of codes to give away, so we will be, with the launch of this episode, we will be running similar to last week, YouTube and Twitter competitions to give away the codes. So we've got one US code and one European code to give away, so look out for that.
Cool. And we've got another little new thing as well that one of you can introduce what we're going to be doing. Starting off once again with Masternoid. What else would it be? Who is lining this one up?
This is a little segment that we are calling VR the Champions.
The champion. Sorry, Alex, you like singing, don't you? Go on.
We are the champions, my friend.
I'm already regretting that name choice.
Dum, dum, bum.
And
So
I'll
what we're gonna
keep on
do-
winning till the
Oh,
end.
Jesus. Enough. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a weekly challenge in our Discord. Basically, if you stay tuned to the interview after this, Petros will reveal which level of Masternoid we all need to compete on. And basically, at the end of the week, we'll see who's got the highest score out of all of us on our Discord, and then that person will win £10 PSN credit.
And just we can't win our own competition, so
Yeah, we can with this one.
Yeah, no, we can.
We can with this
definitely
one.
Okay.
Yeah, bring
Right.
it. Bring it on.
Okay.
Beat the champ.
Should we not just give Alex the prize now? Just
No,
No,
cut out
because
the
you know
middle.
what? You know this happens all the time. Like, I'm not actually that good at these games, and then when everyone else starts getting good, then I just kind of dip.
Alex, you're like the best person in the world at this game. Anyway, okay, whatever.
So yeah, join in. Come to our Discord. Join in, and let's all have a go at taking Alex down.
Good. Okay. Well, we can look forward to that. Well, thank you everyone for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends and your family all about us. If you'd like to get more involved with the rest of our shenanigans, please do not hesitate to drop into our Discord and say hi. Thank you to everyone that's done so already. And thank you once again, last but not least, to all of our patrons for the lovely support that they give us. I've been your host, Laurie. These two have been Ben and Alex, and we will see you again next time. Until then, though, here is our interview with Petros from Pixel Magnet talking about Masternoid.
So I think first and foremost, the elephant in the room, we have to say, Laurie and I have to say, sorry. First and foremost.
And we actually exist. We are not AI.
We can confirm you're not Alex's hand puppet. You are a real person.
Yeah,
And it's-
exactly.
Masternoid is very much a real game.
You're real
And,
people and you made a real game.
Yeah.
And look, we are big enough to say, do you know what? We were wrong to doubt Alex, and we've both thoroughly enjoyed Masternoid over the last few weeks. So, thank you and congratulations for making such an awesome game.
Thank you. And I mean, to be honest, we had so much fun just watching you two having like all this fun with Alex. Like, I was just watching the first episode when I was watching, and Alex was talking about it, and I was watching like Laurie's face. He was doing all this micro expression. He was like, "What is this guy talking about?"
That's kind of what it's like most weeks, to be fair.
To be fair, it was more of a self-own, because I was looking at him thinking, if this game is really that good, I'm sure that I would have heard of it by now. It just shows actually how out of touch, how bad I am, and somehow I'm presenting a PS VR2 podcast. So what does that do? Anyone can do this job.
Yeah,
exactly. We are the consummate professionals.
Yeah, in all fairness, we're also a bit bad in terms of marketing and stuff like that. So it's not surprising that we haven't heard of us.
Yeah, but I guess, we have, and we're telling as many people as we can. But I guess that's one of the points that I wanted to kind of touch on, was that thing, going back to that, what Laurie said there, how can this game be that good? Surely I would have heard of it if it's that great. How do you break through that barrier? What's the, other than kind of getting it on the radar of smaller outlets like us, and then I guess hoping that it snowballs. What's the dream for Masternoid, I guess, and how do you kind of set that in action?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big question for every kind of small indie game, right? The way we see it is like you basically grind your way through it. I mean, unless you have some big budget that you can splash away and do things like that. You're just like, you're there, you keep like, tweeting, having a Discord, trying to build a community, and, you're hoping you're going to be lucky enough that, a guy like Alex spots you, and then, you start getting some traction, and then it gets bigger and bigger. At least that's what we're trying to do at the moment.
So that word of mouth, and obviously, that you can tell that you're very engaged on social media as well, which I guess is crucial, because obviously that's a free route to market, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can speak one-to-one with your fans and with content creators, and you can make a difference in there. But you must have to hustle constantly. You can't just, imagine like a big studio, they put a game out and they can kind of, with the exception of having to patch it or whatever, a lot of the team can just go, right, what's the next project? Where I guess, this is something that you guys are having to work at still.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, since the game is out in PSVR and we're getting all like this positive feedback, it's not that hard actually to keep working on it. Like, this kind of, when people say, oh, I played it, I loved it, this kind of fuels you to keep working on it. And we're more than happy to do that. Like,
awesome. And how does that work look from a sort of gameplay perspective? Are you still kind of introducing new ideas, and have you got some stuff that you wanted to put into the game? And if you can touch on that briefly.
Yeah. We're thinking about, we have quite a few ideas at the moment, and new ones are coming up pretty much every day. I think the main, like our first update that is kind of planned at the moment, and I can talk a bit about it, is we're going to introduce a new mode. It's going to be called Daily Blast. So basically, one level, one try. It's going to have a leaderboard for it, and it's going to be. And we're also going to have like a monthly leaderboard and a weekly leaderboard. And the idea behind
how much is Alex paying you for these games?
I'm sitting here genuinely like excited. I'm like, oh my god! Like, I can feel the stress already. Like, if that ball goes past my head, I'm like, no, I can't restart. What are you talking about? No.
Yeah, that's exactly the idea behind it. And ideally, at some point, we know also to tie some rewards with this. Some kind of small stuff. Daily blaster of the month or things like that. So that's
Alex wants that.
Yeah.
You can just tell. Yeah, he'll be all over that. It almost makes it like almost roguelike in a way.
Yeah.
Just that. One and done kind of. There's no retries. I quite like that. It's cool.
Some of the ideas we're exploring are going back to bringing back the old arcade feeling, like the one life type kind of thing, basically. So we're also exploring some other ideas about like maybe a mode where you have a specific amount of lives, but you lose a life when you lose a ball, not when you lose your one ball, but whenever you lose a ball, basically. And it's as far as you progress. So that's, and I mean, as I said, these are ideas. The Daily Blast is going to happen. It's something that we're working on. And we're also looking into some kind of more active maybe stuff, like not just like having this kind of relaxed mode, but maybe you're moving in order to manipulate the balls in space.
Interesting. I was going to say, have you considered or have you tested out like a dual wielding?
Yes, I mean,
that's one thing I would imagine that's quite hard to.
Yeah, that's what we are looking for, basically. Like how we can, because it's kind of a bit awkward if you have two guns, but maybe it can work if you're doing some kind of, I don't know, punching or moving or whatever. I mean, yeah, something like that. So we're exploring those ideas at the moment.
I think you should get an invitational going and just find the top 16 players in the world, of which, Alex, surely you must be one by now. And we'll just, we'll stream a tournament of everyone. Yeah, the top 16 players, knockout.
I'm on that journey of trying to take number one in like every level. I'm like, I want the ball. I want the ball.
How many number ones have you got?
Yeah, how many do you got?
I don't know. I haven't counted. I think I'm in.
He has.
I think I was in double figures. But I don't know how many I have. But I've got quite a few. Well, I had quite a few the last time I played, but it's been a couple of days of kind of trying to. I'm not saying I've tried to wean myself off, but I think it was almost becoming an addiction. I'm like, right, come on. It's like hours a night. Like I sent a screenshot to these guys the other day and I'd hit 30 hours. I'm like, how can I have played 30 hours of this game already? But like,
insane.
Wow.
Petros, I'm just thinking, have you thought about like a head-to-head versus mode? I'm thinking of like classic Tetris where you've been playing it head-to-head and every time you clear a line, it sends junk lines over to your opponents. I can just imagine.
Yeah, there was a friend actually that suggested that. I mean, why not? As I said, like as long as the game, like, you know, is people are playing it, people are having fun with it. I think we're more than happy to explore all the different ideas. Obviously, one big one is the level editor. A lot of people are saying that would be awesome. Just have your but it's not the easiest thing to be done technically, basically, and it needs some thought. Yeah. But still, we would. It's not something it's something we are thinking.
I can just imagine if you give people the option of making any shape in the world.
We
know. It's going to be Tears of the Kingdom all over again.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got like a nice little logo though that would be a good trial.
The CrossButton VR logo, perfect. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
come on.
I think that should be the first daily blast.
Real subtle, guys. Real subtle there.
First daily blast should be like get us in.
Come on. Yeah. What is, just getting back to the level design, because they are, you know, every new one that you unlock, and Alex said this way back when he was first convincing us that Masternoid was real. Every one that you unlock is like a nice little, that's cool. It's almost like when you solve a Picross puzzle and you see the picture, you know, you just got this nice little moment of that's cool. What's your favourite level, would you say?
Ooh.
If you had to pick one that you recommend, let's say, for example, if we were going to run a competition this week, that you know, for our listeners and viewers, who could get the highest score, what do you think would be the best level for us to do that on?
Well, that's a tough one.
No pressure.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind, because it's really fun to play, is Strawberry. I mean, it's it has nice colors. Like you can get it in, break it. It's super fun. For a bit more challenging thing, I think one of my favorites, which has created a bit of controversy because of it has a really high score to 3-star. There were some people that were saying it's really high. It's the I forgot the name. The metal one.
The metal box.
Not the metal box.
No.
Oh God, that's embarrassing.
There's a lot of levels, to be fair.
Yeah. Anyway, there is the one where it has 2 layers of like the ones that is harder, solid blocks basically. So you have to get it in, and it's it's the final one at the not the last award, the one before that.
The one before, yeah, I think that was the one I had the most trouble with.
Yeah,
actually, following on from Alex's achievement last week, I got the platinum this week. I'm pleased to say, but that was the one that gave me the most difficulty, and that was the one where I was almost like, Alex, do you want to just come to my house? Yeah, it was very tricky. But
I gave them a master class last week to tell them how to do it, and then Ben managed to get the platinum.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very helpful. I was saying to Alex, he should do a video like top 10 tips for getting high scores on Master.
No.
You don't want anyone else.
He doesn't want to do that.
You already.
Yeah, that's true. Secrets. No, that's cool. All right, well let's go for. Should we go for the strawberry? Alex, you're the master. We'll choose the strawberry as the level, shall we?
Strawberry. Yeah, let's go.
Summary, nice and summary. Everyone's in a summary mood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's a fun one.
Cool. So the other thing was obviously, Masternoid is where we know you from now, but you've had quite an interesting career up to this point. It'd be interesting to know your career path and what's led you to VR specifically, because that's quite an interesting kind of trajectory. If you wouldn't mind just giving us a bit of the background and what led you to this point.
I mean, we're basically 3 guys. That's what Pixel Magnet is. We all met about like 12 years ago when we were doing our masters in London. And then throughout the years, we kind of worked together in different projects. Me and Nikos, we were working together in Oli Oli. I don't know if you remember that game for PS Vita. And then Oli Oli 2. And then Nikos went after that and worked for Sony. So he worked for Blood and Truth and the VR Awards. So he had quite some experience on VR. And George, he was the first one to come back to Greece, and he has developed a quite successful mobile game. It's called Tiger Ball. It has like millions of downloads. It's a really fun, nice, cool, arcadey kind of game. And I was working for Unity for quite a while. And then at some point, we kind of, in different stages of our lives, we all came back to Greece. And then the guys already were working on it because why VR? I mean, George was the first one that got his hands in a Quest device, and he really loved it. And they had different ideas, and they were thinking, okay, let's do something like simple. It didn't end up that simple at the end, but let's do something simple and something that kind of, we're all children of the 80s, basically. Something that gives kind of this like fun arcade kind of thing. And that's how they started working. And then I joined them like at some point during the project.
And how long has that project taken? How long? Because I've got absolutely no concept of how from the initial idea pitching to putting it out now and everything else.
I mean, if the absolute time is like almost 4 years now.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're doing other stuff in between. So I wouldn't say we're working full time for 4 years. But also it was, I mean, at least for me, it was surprisingly tough to nail some of the mechanics and the specifics to kind of try to give this feel that the game.
It has got a very specific feel, because one of the issues I had when Alex was first describing it was trying to imagine like a brick breaker in 3D and trying to, because obviously on a 2D plane you're just moving a little platform and that's very simple to understand. The ball bounces where it's going to bounce, but it's very hard to envisage like the ball coming towards you, and how do you then aim it? Because a lot of it is in the kind of the flick of the wrist, which is a hard thing to sort of convey, but there's almost like you have to bend it where you want it to go. And there's obviously the slow down that the ball does as it's coming towards you to give you an opportunity to take aim and think about your shot. So all of those things and the physics of it from on the face of it, what seems like a simple game, you can tell in the background there's so much going on. So it's like, I can imagine that takes a load of testing, right?
Yeah, I mean, we went through a lot of different iterations to figure out all those stuff and trying.
Was there a time where it just wasn't coming together, or you were like, it doesn't feel right, but we're sure that it must somehow, there must be a way we can crack this? How the process was that?
I think it was kind of, we were nailing one thing and then we were moving to the next. Like we were playing and we were saying, okay, this is not that much fun. How can we solve it? And then, solving it kind of one by one, like we spend a lot of time like in figuring out how to do the scoring thing. We spend a lot of time figuring out the power-ups, how you do that. Obviously, the aiming also was kind of important because at the beginning the game didn't have any aiming, and it wasn't like, it was kind of more like luck where the ball was going.
Chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I play it. To be fair,
that's exactly how as soon as I've got 4 balls, I stop trying to aim anything, and I'm just like, pure chaos. Was there anything during the course of development that you thought was a really cool idea, but you just couldn't work it into the game, that you had to kind of leave on the table? Was there anything like that, or anything that you've put aside for a future game or to develop further?
Story mode.
Story mode.
Real deep backstory as to what's going on.
What are those shapes? Why are they there?
They've all got names and a little origin.
Who made this gun?
For me, I would say and I think for the rest of guys, this was like something we're trying to do, but because we are mainly all programmers, we kind of we didn't have the time and the skills to do it. I wanted to be a bit more Tetris effect in terms of the environment around you, like have a bit more buzz, more things happening, like not in a distracting way, but kind of feeling like the way you feel it with the music, like it kind of gets you in the flow. I think we wanted the environment to also. I'm very happy to where we are at the moment. But if we have the chance, I think I would love to work a bit on that and make it a bit more vibrant, basically.
Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, I think it's not distracting, and I think that's quite important in Masternoid, because you are just purely.
Yeah, exactly.
I just look for the circle. Whoever thought of that? Whoever thought of that idea of the little circle around the ball when it's coming back to you? That's genius, because that's all I just look out for. But anything else that's going on around me, I just.
Oh, awesome! That was actually quite a late addition.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
So useful. I think I would have struggled without that.
Yeah,
it's really
George would be very happy to hear that.
Good. And I mean, final question, I guess, unless these guys have got anything else. But obviously, you spend a lot of time in VR working on this game. Do you get much time to play any other stuff in VR? And if so, what's your kind of favorite games?
Out of all the three of us, I'm the one that I think plays the least. Yeah, I mean.
So you work the hardest. That's what you're trying to say.
No, not really. I mean, the thing is that I obviously have a Quest device, but we only have one PSVR at the moment that is based in Athens, because that's where the 2 other guys are. So I don't have access to one at the moment. Hopefully I will buy one very soon, because I'm really looking forward to playing Synapse, Sysmas, yeah. So
good stuff.
So I haven't played any of the latest stuff.
Awesome. Well, if you ever need a top 10 list to refer
Oh
to,
yeah, I know.
And we can confirm that your game is now in that top 10 list. Don't worry, it's there. It's definitely there.
I think it will be next time we do it, to be honest.
Yes.
I think we need to make some serious
Fairly high
adjustments.
up it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hashtag Alex was right.
Yeah.
Yes.